This modern city is controlled by a mad religion. A believer burns himself alive, smiling to prove his devotion to the god Yamanus. Fanatics chant "Long live Yamanus." The bishop in the fire claims faith makes him invincible, untouchable even by Satan himself. Instant karma. Just as he boasts, a heavy blow sends the invincible bishop flying, throwing the crowd into chaos. The attacker appears a guy in a blue hood. The terrified believers scream ugly, pissing him off instantly. Who's the real monster? A parasite rises in the believer's eye. The blue hood wastes no words, transforming into a red beast to attack. A purple-clad knight blocks his path. The blue hood laughs, mocking their holy ritual as a cheap fire show. Tension explodes. That's the third church Ugly Hood has attacked. Rumors spread like wildfire. They say this lunatic destroys buildings with his bare hands. The scariest part? He could be hiding among us. Heavy footsteps echo in the hallway as someone kicks open the door with murderous intent. The class turns in terror. A backlit shadow at the door lets out a scornful scoff. The pressure is suffocating. It's just Elsa late again. But before she can breathe, the bald teacher forces the class to stand and worship the portrait of Yamanus. The school is a brainwashing center. The teacher passionately preaches the myth of God Yamanus descending to create the world. In this twisted society, faith determines class. Despite the high-tech world, low-level believers remain at the bottom. Elsa just wants to sleep. Elsa! The teacher's roar snaps her out of her daydream. She looks up, confused, clearly having missed every word. Smack! The teacher hurls chalk at her face, publicly shaming her as Class D trash and calling her a future terrorist. Facing such humiliation, Elsa clenches her fists, swallows her anger, and walks out. The teacher curses at her retreating back. Alone in the hallway, Elsa fumes in silence. On the wall, the news declares, the squad will soon capture the terrorist Ugly Hood. The saviors have arrived, a squad of bizarre aliens. They're so popular that citizens overlook their ridiculous high-waisted pants. A student points out they're obviously aliens, but the crazed fans don't care. The gold-masked leader grabs the mic, basking in the superstar welcome. The alien squad is grandstanding in the square, but a reporter calls out their bluff. How do you plan to catch a criminal when you don't even know what they look like? Desperate for results, they harass a random girl on the street. Their logic is absurd. You're lower class, and wearing a hood, that's all the proof we need. The crowd erupts in anger at the blatant racism, but the situation spirals out of control as the mob starts chanting for blood. Kill her! Kill the alien! The leader comes up with a genius plan: shoot the suspect. Their twisted logic. If she dies, she's innocent. If she survives, she's Ugly Hood. Bang! The idiot misses and shoots his own teammate. Instead of taking responsibility, they blame the girl for moving and incite the mob to attack her. Pushed to the edge, Elsa warns them. Don't shoot, you'll regret it. They ignore her warning and pull the trigger point blank. As the smoke clears, everyone freezes in shock. Elsa stands unharmed, eyes glowing with rage, sneering at their stupidity. She spits the bullet out from between her teeth. I told you regret it. The knights are paralyzed with fear as the tables turn instantly. Crackling with energy, Elsa demands to know how many innocents they've killed. Terrified, the leader cowers out and orders the frenzied mob to tear her apart. The world refuses to believe in aliens, but the truth is darker. They are everywhere, hiding in plain sight within the church's own ranks. The leader shamelessly admits to killing 5 people, claiming it was God's will. Elsa snaps. Fine. Then consider me the agent sent to take out the trash. Boom. Elsa stops holding back, blasting everyone away as she transforms. In the chaos, she drops the bombshell. She's an alien too. Standing amidst the ruins, Elsa pulls up her hood. She looks down at the defeated squad and mocks them. Call yourselves human with those cowardly tactics? One moment, she's a superpowered alien crushing enemies. The next, she's mopping floors at school. This jarring contrast is her reality. The news reports the squad's death, and students gossip excitedly. But Elsa just puts her head down on her desk, exhausted and wondering if this nightmare will ever end. Memories flood back. Her mother was always an eccentric, conducting weird, universal communication experiments at home that made everyone think she was crazy. Her parents taught her the forbidden truth: the church's god is actually an alien invader. It sounded like madness, but it was the dangerous reality they lived with. Because of those heretical beliefs, her mother was driven to death when Elsa was just 15. That grief and anger have haunted her ever since. At the funeral, the priest fakes sympathy, claiming her mother died of self-pity. Elsa explodes, shaking with rage, and calls out his crocodile tears. "My mother was proud. Don't you dare lie." Stifling her tears in the scorching heat, Elsa grabs a bottle to cool down. She takes a swig and immediately spits it out. It's straight alcohol. 15-year-old Elsa discovers a new love for the drink. Meanwhile, chaos erupts in the church as priests panic. The holy wine for the baptism is missing. The bishop orders the thief's execution. Unaware of the danger, Elsa starts feeling dizzy, the first sign that the wine is doing something to her body. The mutation begins. Stage 1. Loss of control. Elsa breaks into a cold sweat, terrified as her limbs stop obeying her commands. Agony strikes as her skin cracks open like porcelain. Red veins spread wildly across her arm, oozing blood and strange fluid. Her body is tearing apart. Her consciousness plunges into the abyss. In a hallucination, Elsa faces a massive, one-eyed monster, the third stage, confronting the parasitic entity. The empty bottle lies on the floor, while Elsa's humanity crumbles. Once assimilated by it, she will cease to be human and become a monster. Elsa jerks awake to find her hand turned a grotesque red. Before she can process the change, armed church knights surround her, ready for an immediate execution. The knight blames her for the stolen wine. Elsa, facing death, scoffs in disbelief. "You idiots lost it, and now you're blaming me for drinking it?" Cutting the talk, she counts to 3 and attacks. The ground shatters beneath her speed. This mutated body is terrifyingly powerful. The parasite, now in control, looks at the stunned knights with disdain, mocking the so-called elites for being weaker than this D-class human body. The fight ends in an instant, knights scattered on the ground. The commander's frantic voice crackles over the radio, met only by dead silence. She steps over the ruins, reveling in her new power, but freezes. The original owner of the body isn't giving up control that easily. Back in the mindscape, Elsa is woozy but still standing. The parasite stares at her stubborn host, smirking as things get complicated. The blue-skinned figure introduces herself elegantly. "I'm Ariel, an alien parasite, and the new owner of your body." Elsa stands there, completely dumbfounded. Aliens are real? Shock aside, Elsa remembers her mother's lesson: never follow blindly. Her gaze hardens. She won't let this thing take over. Negotiations fail, so it's war. Ariel proposes a fight for the body. Elsa, already furious at the church, accepts gladly. Her fists are itching to hit something. Ariel smugly taunts her to take a free shot. Elsa doesn't hesitate. She screams, "Don't steal," and lands a devastating haymaker right on the alien's face. Elsa zones out in class, her mind stuck on the mental battle with the parasite. Just moments ago, that blue thing was cursing her out in her head, and the memory still makes her blood boil. Meanwhile, chaos erupts at the church headquarters. The atmosphere is suffocating. The squad has been nearly wiped out, and all because of a single, unknown terrorist. The bishop ignores the excuses and ruthlessly stabs a subordinate's hand. The other cultists, who were moments away from complaining, instantly freeze in terror, too scared to breathe. The order is simple: kill Uglyhood at all costs. The bloodied man, Diasa, barks the command, while the girl nearby stares with cold, lethal determination. To these fanatics, Elsa is a heretic who betrayed their god. A monstrous shadow looms behind the girl, signaling that the insane hunt for Uglyhood has officially begun. Ariel drops the scary act and turns into a chibi form to mock Elsa. "Hey, congrats on being famous. By the way, everyone saw your face during that fight." Back in class, Ariel keeps popping up. Elsa looks like she's arguing with thin air, and her classmates are whispering, convinced she's completely lost her mind. Worse yet, the news is out. Headlines scream Uglyhood attack. Elsa scrolls through her phone in panic, while Ariel freaks out beside her. Now the whole world is hunting them. At the hospital, the surviving green alien recovers in bed. Seeing visitors, the naive guy grins, thinking the bishop actually came to wish him well. But these agents didn't bring fruit baskets. The officers surround his bed, faces grim, demanding every detail about the attacker known as Uglyhood. The alien suddenly remembers and shouts, "I got it. Uglyhood is a girl in a hoodie." The 3 investigators freeze, eyes wide. This is a massive bombshell. The officer demands facial features, but the green guy shrugs, "I don't know, all you earthlings look the same." Furious, she snaps and strangles him right there. The interrogation is a bust. The agents storm out, cursing. Their only witness is faceblind, giving them absolutely nothing useful besides gender. The police are geniuses. Based on descriptions like hard teeth and messy hair, they sketch a suspect. The result doesn't even look human, it's a monster. They stare at the grotesque drawing, decide it looks legit, and release the ugly Who'd Wanted poster immediately. Their judgment is truly something else. Elsa is horrified when she sees the poster. Not because she's wanted, but because she's insulted. I'm cute. What the hell is this ugly drawing? Ariel is relieved no one will recognize her from that sketch. But while they laugh it off, the terrifying Cardinal Chester has personally arrived at the hospital. Heavy footsteps echo in the corridor. The survivors scramble to stand and salute in terror. Cardinal Chester radiates a suffocating aura, freezing the room instantly. Chester doesn't scream. Instead, he asks about the photo with a chilling calmness. His sharp eyes bore into the survivors. He knows they're hiding something. The shadowed minions are confused, claiming the defeat was too fast. The masked one tries to recall, but suddenly screams, memory glitching out violently in pain. 3 terrified aliens tremble in fear. The bloody-faced man stares coldly, while the green-haired interrogator steps forward, weapon in hand, asking casually, "What about you?" The alien begs on his knees for time to think. But mercy isn't an option. A black claw reaches out, cold and dismissive, calling for the next victim. The giant claw strikes with a tearing sound. The faceless victim collapses in terror, screaming frantically at his own brain to remember before it's too late. Under extreme torture, the pieces come together. She's a Class D, wearing a school uniform. The interrogator's eyes widen. They are hunting a high school student. Target confirmed. A Class D high schooler. The bishop acknowledges coldly. A massive shadow looms over the sobbing captive, ignoring his desperate pleas for mercy. A violent tear ends the interrogation, leaving bodies on the floor. The bishop turns his back on the carnage, calling death a mercy, while his subordinates look on in disappointment. Staring at the blood-soaked floor, the bishop declares they'll do things his way now. When asked about the bodies, he dismisses them coldly. Do whatever you want. The minions are terrified, but the bishop grimly orders a squad rebuild. His new directive is chilling. Treat every single Class D citizen as a suspect. Back at school, Elsa sleeps soundly, unaware the net is closing in. At the front, the teacher sweats nervously, stuttering as he announces a new transfer student. The class is confused. The teacher trembles violently as the student steps in. Everyone freezes. She's wearing the black badge. Name, Sarah Greenmile. The blue guy panics. It's the bishop's daughter. The class erupts in whispers until Sarah cuts them off, glaring coldly. Hey, shut the hell up. I'll introduce myself. She stands at the podium, casually stating she left her old school because everyone was an idiot. She says, "Let's get along." But her cold stare terrifies the boys below. Chapter 4 begins. Sarah's arrogant intro echoes, and the entire class shares a single thought. What a bitch. Everyone, that is, except for one person. That exception is Julia Martin, another Class D outcast. She pushes her glasses up, watching the scene unfold with a cold, detached stare. The teacher seats Sarah right next to Elsa. Elsa's alarm bells ring. The bishop's daughter here means a trap. Ariel warns frantically. Ignore her. Don't engage. Tension explodes immediately. Sarah glares sideways, spitting. What are you looking at, idiot? Elsa grits her teeth, chanting. Ignore, internally to hold back her fist. Recess hits, and the vibe shifts. A girl accidentally bumps into Julia and apologizes, only to be dragged away by a friend. Are you crazy? Haven't you heard the rumors? The whispers are loud and cruel. Her brother's a terrorist, she's heresy, that gray badge makes me sick. Julia stands alone, silently absorbing the school's venomous hate. Let's start with this messed up world. Here, money and obedience buy status, while poverty and atheism destroy you. At the top sit the Pope and Bishop's classic pyramid oppression. Below them are the commoners, classes A through D. Our protagonist Elsa is stuck at the very bottom in Class D, the lowest link in the social food chain. But there's something worse, the named, a class considered subhuman. Siren's Whale prisoner E457 has escaped the concentration camp. Cornered and sweating profusely, he screams in desperation. He claims he only made a joke online, never intending to rebel, yet he's treated like a terrorist. The interrogator ignores his pleas and coldly presses a button. With a long live Yamanus, the collar on his neck detonates, executing him on the spot. The official notice follows. Question the church or speak out, and you become named, collar and all. A brutal warning to everyone else. At school, students cheer at the news, believing the execution was justified. Only Julia, the purple-haired girl, grits her teeth, silently hating these brainwashed fools. Predictably, the blonde bully Sarah strikes again. She loudly mocks Julia, reminding everyone that her brother is one of those pathetic, named fugitives. Meanwhile, Bishop Maya is nursing a headache. That bully Sarah is the cardinal's daughter, and her transfer here is a ticking time bomb. Maya knows her too well. The princess only came to this dump for one reason. She enjoys trampling on the lower classes and reveling in the abuse. Back in class, Sarah forces Julia to apologize. Watching her victim tremble with suppressed rage, Sarah laughs with twisted delight. She rubs salt in the wound, asking why Julia hasn't cut ties with her trash brother, treating her family like they're less than insects. It escalates as Sarah tells her to go kill herself. Meanwhile, our protagonist Elsa, fresh from a terrible lunch, wonders why there's a crowd in the hallway. Crash, windows shatter. Julia finally snaps, screaming that she already apologized. Is the bully deaf? It turns into a full-blown brawl. Students watch the chaos, thinking Sarah went too far, but no one dares to intervene and risk getting burned. Elsa tries to ignore it to protect her alien identity. But the more her partner Ariel tells her to stay out of it, the more her blood boils. Screw laying low. Elsa grabs Sarah's arm. The class is shocked the invisible nobody just laid hands on the privileged elite. Elsa asks if she's deaf, but Sarah stays eerily calm. Her eye glows with a sinister red light as she asks Elsa if this is all just a game. The criteria are brutal: crushing rocks with raw strength, unleashing heavy firepower, or displaying psychic abilities. Only the absolute strongest can join this insane squad. The first contestant, Diasa, steps into the spotlight. The crowd goes wild for his looks, but he speaks in broken gibberish and proudly shows off his vibrato. He's clearly a total weirdo. The camera cuts to confused onlookers. Meanwhile, Elsa suits up in pink, her gaze sharp against a starry backdrop. Uglyhood is ready to take the stage. Memories flash back: locker room bullying, classroom taunts. Elsa used to endure it, but now, sharing a body with an alien has gifted her with terrifying growing strength. One punch pulverizes a brick wall, red lightning crackling. Elsa realizes ordinary humans are now like fragile ants to her. One slip of control could be fatal. She has to hold back. The green-haired bully grabs Elsa, oblivious to the danger. Elsa sweats bullets, gently warning her to let go, terrified that even a slight twitch might shatter the girl's arm. Ariel screams, "Turn your head." Elsa realizes she needs to sell it, and awkwardly jerks her head to the side. The acting is so stiff even the bully looks confused. The bully unleashes a flurry of slaps, but Elsa treats it like a rhythm game, dodging effortlessly. The attacker's hand throbs with pain, and she screams in frustration at Elsa's blank face. The bully snaps and slaps the girl in red instead. Elsa's expression goes cold. She catches the hand midair, voice dropping an octave. "I said stop. Don't touch my friend." Suddenly, the red-eyed guy snaps, dark energy radiating as he threatens the whole class. Students scramble in terror, though a few tough ones talk back, throwing the room into chaos. In the restroom, the tension fades. The brunette checks on the redhead, who washes her face, flashes a peace sign, and smiles, thanking her for the help. They start talking. The victim casually reveals she's used to the bullying because her brother is a rebel nameless. The brunette's eyes pop out of her head. She had no idea. The mood snaps. The brunette aggressively asks for the brother's camp and prisoner number. The redhead's eyes narrow, her smile turning cold. "Did you only help me to get that info?" The redhead shuts it down and walks away. The brunette stands there, mentally slapping herself for being such a socially awkward idiot. She ruined the moment completely. Left alone in the hallway, the brunette sighs. She realizes she crossed a line. Some scars are private. She stares blankly at the blue sky, regretting her clumsiness. Meanwhile, at Church HQ, a commander in red barks orders, "Arrest all suspicious D-class citizens." The squad of bizarre alien recruits cheers wildly. The purge is beginning. On the streets, the alien patrol corners a random guy. Just because he walks suspiciously, they surround him, demanding his ID in broken common tongue. It's pure harassment. Diasa flashes his bishop badge and pulls out a wanted poster of Uglyhood. Ignoring all logic, he accuses the random civilian of being the terrorist, purely because he's D-class. Before the poor guy can explain, He's snatched up and dragged away like trash. His screams echo through the city skyline. The hunt for D-class citizens has officially begun. Chaos erupts in the streets. While the purple-skinned bishop claims he wants peace, his knights violently drag people away. One guy fights back, screaming at them for abusing their power against innocent citizens. It's a massacre. The blonde woman binds victims with tentacles, coldly stating orders are absolute. To them, D-classes aren't even human, just fodder to be beaten or devoured alive by terrifying monsters. Back at school, the tension is just as high. Ariel barks orders, forcing everyone to sit and scolding classmates. The fear is palpable. Students cower and whisper, terrified of setting off her explosive temper. The green-haired girl seethes, calling her classmate childish in her head. Meanwhile, the purple-haired girl sits confused and defensive, wondering if this cold shoulder is some kind of petty revenge. The air is thick with tension. Suddenly, a frantic call from Dad comes in. The warning is terrifying. TOY is violently arresting all D-classes outside. He begs the protagonist to stay indoors, shattering any illusion of safety within the school. It clicks: this purge is happening because of the rumors that Uglyhood is a D-class. The purple-haired girl adds a chilling truth: they don't need a reason to arrest their kind. The realization hits like a punch to the gut. Inside the church, countless D-class citizens are herded like cattle. The guards look down on them with pure disgust. Terrifyingly, despite the scale of this atrocity, the media remains completely silent. In the dim corridor, one guard keeps ominously warning the other to watch his back. The repetition breeds paranoia, making the second guard sweat, feeling like something dangerous is lurking in the shadows. Ambush. A guy with glasses strikes from the shadows, instantly taking down the guard. Mocking his victim for ignoring the warnings, he calmly strips the guard of his power core and uniform. He's clearly done this before. Infiltration complete. The countdown begins, only 6.5 minutes until total mayhem. Back in class, the purple-haired student sweats bullets, paralyzed by the knowledge that a violent purge of his kind is happening right outside. Guilt consumes Elsa. Hallucinations of victims blaming her flood her mind. She can't sit still anymore. Gritting her teeth, she zips up her bag and changes into her red hoodie. She has to move before more people get hurt. As Elsa sprints down the hallway, the TOY command center is chillingly casual. They order their troops to kill any escapees on sight, treating a massacre like it's just a fun little game. The stakes just skyrocketed. At headquarters, Bishop Abel watches the efficient brutality with sadistic glee. Seeing the torture and mass arrests, he laughs maniacally. I fucking love it. He's enjoying every second of the suffering. The absurdity reaches new heights. The bishop forces the captured victims to apologize to their abusers. Under crushing authority, the D-classes bow their heads and mutter sorry, a humiliating display of total submission. The bishop plays his dirty hand, showing a picture of Uglyhood. He manipulates the crowd, promising freedom if the hero surrenders. The room buzzes with panic and suspicion. He's turning the victims against their savior. With only 10 seconds to surrender, the clock is ticking. Back at school, Elsa bursts into the faculty office, desperate. She begs the teacher to let her leave early, her voice cracking with urgency. She has to get out now. She hits a wall. The substitute teacher, Sen, coldly shuts her down, seeing right through the lies. Elsa screams about saving lives, but Sen counters seamlessly, guilt-tripping her about her father. It's a deadlock. Desperate, Elsa tries to prove she's a hero with a scribbled note, but the teacher just laughs. She threatens to check on Elsa after class, sealing the escape route. Elsa snaps, screaming in pure frustration and helplessness. The countdown begins. 10, 9. Inside the classroom, students whisper, blaming Uglyhood for their troubles. Elsa sits seething, forced to listen to the very people she wants to save trash talk her while time runs out. 5, 4. Elsa is losing her mind at her desk. 3, 2. 1. The bishop's confident smirk fills the screen. Time is up. The ultimatum expires, and the real storm is about to break. The auditorium is dead silent. The bishop smiles, mocking Uglyhood's absence. A man in the crowd screams in anger about being held hostage. The bishop whispers for calm, but in a split second, blood splatters everywhere. The protester is sent flying, terrifying even the guards. The bishop, eyes manic and cold, points his gun at the crowd. I said remain calm. Remember your place before you speak, you filth. People watch the live stream, laughing at the violence like it's a show. But the church has a plan B. Since bullets won't stop Uglyhood, they decide to just slaughter every single D-class student in the room. Panic explodes as the students realize they're being treated like cattle. The executioners smirk. Don't worry, we'll heal you later. Gunshots ring out as they blame the entire massacre on Uglyhood. Meanwhile, in the school hallway, Elsa strides out with her bag. A classmate asks where she's going before class ends. Without looking back, she replies firmly, I'm leaving. I have a job to do. She pauses, her purple eyes burning with intensity. Hand on her chest, Elsa listens to the chaos from afar. She can't just sit by and watch the slaughter happen. In the hallway, the redhead tries to comfort a terrified Julia. Don't worry, someone will come save them, like Uglyhood. She looks furious and embarrassed just admitting it, face turning bright red. Meanwhile, the narcissist Nathan is having a hero complex, skipping school to look cool. In the alley, he asks his symbiote Ariel with maximum cringe. Should I come up with a famous entrance line? Back in the shadows, church officials are plotting. This entire massacre is just bait. They are betting that the attention-seeking Uglyhood won't be able to resist playing the hero. In the interrogation room, a man in purple holds a syringe with a sick smile, treating this like an experiment. The girl on the floor struggles, but a masked guard pins her down, whispering, You're one of them, aren't you? The purple-suited man freezes. His masked subordinate's wounds have healed instantly. Suspicious, he asks, I didn't order you to heal. The subordinate stays silent, eyes sharpening with danger. Tension spikes. The purple-suited man reaches for the mask, annoyed. Cat got your tongue? Let's see your face. The moment he touches it, he realizes this isn't his man, but it's too late. The subordinate explodes into action. The purple-suited man is caught off guard, stumbling back from the blow, screaming, Are you crazy? Attacking your superior? Chaos erupts. Everyone is shocked someone just kicked the bishop. As the dust settles, it's not Uglyhood, but two figures in strange masks, arriving just in time to crash the party. Before they can react, the main door is smashed to pieces. The massive impact terrifies the guards. Someone screams in horror. It's the Nameless! They've breached the entrance! Through the smoke, a masked girl coolly announces, Let's go home! The students are confused by these masked saviors, but realize they're safe. The Nameless immediately start directing the evacuation. The main hall is total chaos. The church enforcers scramble to block the exits. Don't let them escape! Screams fill the air as projectiles fly, and the battle fully ignites. Thwack! Thwack! The screaming bishop and his thugs suddenly feel dizzy tranquilizer darts. A sniper is positioned on a high-rise outside. The bishop's eyes go wide in disbelief. The Nameless! How did they get in here? The scene is total anarchy. The commander stands frozen like a glitch, ignoring his screaming subordinates. Alien monsters screech in confusion, while the masked duo watches the absurdity, wondering if they need to step in. Chaos erupts as people scramble for their lives. Amidst the ruins, the villains celebrate, but their leader remains grim. The real threat, Uglyhood, hasn't even shown up yet. The yellow-masked villain spots something, but it's too late. A massive explosion engulfs his green-masked ally, sending debris flying and knocking them off their feet. While the yellow-masked villain mocks the mess, the tables turn instantly. A black-haired rebel sneaks up from behind, putting a chokehold on him. Move a muscle, and I crush his neck. Finally, the hero arrives. Uglyhood lands with a dramatic apology, only to be shoved aside by the fleeing crowd. Nobody cares about her grand entrance. It's totally awkward. The church's elite squad has seen enough. For color-coded masked knights step forward, declaring that none of the rebels will leave this place alive. Facing the elites, the rebel leader remains chillingly calm. With a smirk and a hostage in hand, his sharp gaze suggests he's still the one in control. Perched high atop the ruins, the blue-faced sniper locks onto his targets. His voice is cold as ice. Listen up. Make a move and you're dead. His finger tightens on the trigger, the mechanism clicking ominously. Seeing the defiance below, the sniper loses his patience, ready to unleash a slaughter. The standoff is intense. A villain clutches a detonator threatening mutual destruction, while the hostage coldly counters. You don't want to watch your own man explode, do you? Just as it looks like a negotiation, the villain feigns surrender, then suddenly shoves a bomb straight into the black-haired man's mouth. Even his allies are shocked by the insanity. The bomb fizzles out harmlessly. As the confused victim asks if it's broken, the villain grins savagely. You fell for it. Here's your real prize, a fist to the face. The punch connects with devastating force, sending the man flying through a wall. Amidst the dust and debris, a mysterious woman in a purple dress watches silently like a ghost. As another masked minion gets knocked back, the boss in the purple suit steps in. Disappointed by his squad's failure, he decides to handle the trash himself. The squad frantically analyzes the enemy. Teleportation, super strength, healing. They realize with horror that these rebels possess abilities that are far from human. In the command center, the furious leader demands the enemy's identities. The subordinate pulls up the files and freezes in sheer terror, staring at something impossible. This makes no sense. The files reveal a chilling truth. The 5 named enemies were executed 6 years ago. They are fighting against ghosts. Back on the battlefield, the purple-suited villain spouts his twisted ideology, claiming D-class people aren't citizens and don't deserve life. His arrogance is infuriating. Suddenly, a blur of motion interrupts his monologue. The blue-skinned minion gets his head bashed and instantly. The boss breaks into a cold sweat. Uglyhood? When did you get here? Giving no time to react, fists rain down on the blue-skinned villain, aiming specifically for his face. The once arrogant fighter is smashed into the ground, begging for mercy. The blue bishop is crushed, forced to admit defeat from the ground. Elsa stomps on him, delivering a cold apology. Sorry, I'm just stronger. The bishop scrambles away, only to run straight into the masked, nameless trio. Even while battered, he can't help but mock his potential rescuers. Before the bishop can finish, Diasa crashes in with a devastating attack. The bishop is blasted into the air like a ragdoll. It's more chaotic than a superhero show. It's psychokinesis. Hovering arrogantly, Diasa warns Elsa not to let her guard down. The sheer pressure leaves the bishop absolutely terrified, eyes bulging in shock. Meanwhile, Nathan the part-timer is bored out of his mind at the convenience store. He hates the job and just wants to clock out and watch his dramas. Just as Nathan wishes the store would blow up, boom, it actually does. Through the smoke, he's horrified to find the infamous Uglyhood lying on his floor. Before Nathan can process the terrorist attack, the ceiling collapses. Uglyhood launches up, knocking the poor clerk flying as they both go airborne. Landing in the rubble, Nathan is absolutely furious. Ignoring the fact that she's a supervillain, he grabs Uglyhood and screams, "You destroyed the store! Pay up, you jerk!" Nathan's eyes sparkle, and he covers his mouth in disbelief. It's not a romantic moment, he's just completely overwhelmed by the absurdity of it all. The chaos continues as Nathan screams at Diasa hovering above. Diasa, shocked by the audacity, mistakes the angry clerk for some kind of powerful Satan. The battle devolves into a childish argument. As Diasa rains down attack shouting, "I'm 16! Uglyhood yells back, "I'm 1 year older. Show some respect for your elders!" Realizing he can't win in close combat, Diasa starts strategizing. Simultaneously, Uglyhood has a sudden epiphany amidst the chaos. Elsewhere in the city, the destruction spreads. The unlucky bishop lies buried in the rubble, helpless as the situation spirals out of control. In the aftermath, Diasa casually apologizes to the bishop, claiming, "That bitch was too strong," with zero sincerity. The exhausted bishop only cares that the nameless have escaped. It turns out the teleporter whisked everyone away. The church leadership realizes the gravity of the situation. This is the first time executed nameless have returned alive to rebel. Back in the forest, Ariel, in creature form, is flying high when a lightning bolt snipes him out of the sky. Before he can react, he's blasted straight into the trees. As Ariel lies paralyzed in the crater, Diasa descends slowly, looking down with a sneer. "Not moving anymore? Looks like this is the end." Diasa tries to use psychokinesis for the finishing blow, but strains until his face turns red. He stares at the small creature in shock. Why are you heavy as a mountain?" If he can't lift the body, he'll lift the forest. Clarifying that it's psychokinesis, not psychosis, Diasa brutally rips up giant trees to crush Ariel flat. The blue blob is trapped but still talks trash. Diasa, floating above, doesn't hesitate. He launches a barrage of rocks. Even while getting pummeled, the blob sarcastically calls it a head massage. Diasa realizes his attacks are useless. He tries to pry the blob open with his mind, but it won't budge. Panic sets in, and his concentration begins to slip. Seizing the moment of the enemy's exhaustion, the blob strikes. A devastating kick sends the TOY agent flying backward in shock. Elsa follows up with a punch, but hits a barrier. Just as they prepare for the final clash, the school bell rings, cutting through the tension with a mundane reminder. Inside, the lazy teacher dismisses the class early, sparking cheers. Meanwhile, emergency broadcasts warn the city about the destructive battle raging outside. In the hallway, the teacher brags about his brand new car, laughing off the warnings about uglyhood. He has no idea two figures are plummeting from the sky right above him. Back in the fight, Dayasa is at his limit. His opponent shows no mercy, charging up a massive blast to finish this once and for all. A massive beam of energy connects. Dayasa is helpless as the impact sends him hurtling through the air towards the ground. The teacher reaches his car just as Dayasa crashes right onto it. The car is totaled instantly. The teacher freezes in horror, while Elsa pops up, totally confused. With the chaos unfolding, Sen decides to retreat, leaving a threat behind. Elsa, exhausted and surrounded by wreckage, is left to pick up the pieces. Dayasa apologizes frantically for the crushed car and flees the scene. Later, bruised and battered at headquarters, he stares at Uglyhood's photo, swearing revenge. Back at school, the teacher is mourning his destroyed car like it was a person. His colleague offers zero sympathy, finding the whole situation hilarious. Staring at Uglyhood's wanted poster, the teacher sees not just an enemy, but a massive cash reward. He turns to the delinquent student beside him, hatching a plan. He bribes the student, promising to grant a wish if she helps catch the vigilante. She looks at him like he's lost his mind. He fantasizes about heroically taking down Uglyhood, only to get laughed at. Standing at the gate, he thinks he looks cool, but he's just desperate for that bounty. At church headquarters, the defeated agent Dayasa reports in. He shamelessly admits to running away, laughing nervously, and claiming the enemy was too strong, shocking everyone else. The bishop doesn't rage, he simply teleports right in front of him. With a terrifyingly cold stare, he demands any information Dayasa might have gathered about the target. Dayasa stammers out some useless details. He's strong, lifts trees. His teammates facepalm, realizing he's digging his own grave with such a pathetic report. The bishop loses patience instantly. No need to hear it, he says, striking his subordinate down in a flash of ruthless violence. In the dark rocky arena, Dayasa snaps after being mocked for his age. He unleashes a lightning blast from his fingertip, but the opponent blocks it easily, leaving the bystanders in shock. Dayasa is confused about his instinctive block, realizing the red-robed examiner was actually testing him. His impulsive attack accidentally proved his combat reflexes and power to the examiner. The misunderstanding clears. The blonde examiner coldly confirms his name is Dayasa Senan. Despite his attitude, his power qualifies him, and he's officially accepted into the squad. Fresh in the squad, Dayasa speaks too casually. The black-haired senior snaps immediately, warning him, "Learn to speak with respect, or you won't survive the strict hierarchy here." Dayasa looks confused, ignoring the lecture. Meanwhile, the news reports a massive attack by Uglyhood and the Nameless on the church, plunging the city into fear and chaos. Back at the rebel hideout, the Named rage at the TV. The news twists their rescue into terrorism. Tensions rise as they debate their methods under the crushing weight of reality. The hideout is pure chaos. Arguments flare while Roby screams over his collapsed matchstick tower. Suddenly, a phone starts ringing, cutting through the noise. Roby rushes to a payphone to answer his family's call. Just as they start their usual banter, he hears commotion on the other end. Someone is harassing his sister Julia. At school, Julia listens to her brother's warning when a hand suddenly smashes her phone away. The line goes dead, leaving only her brother's frantic voice echoing in the void. A blonde bully smashes the phone and grabs Julia by the collar. With a cold stare, he mocks her, claiming the world is better now, targeting her purely for her family ties. The bully gets vicious, screaming that she's a child of Satan because of her rebel brother. He yells that she has no right to be in school, leaving Julia shaking with suppressed rage. The blonde guy pins Julia down while girls mock her, asking if she wants another slap. Tears well up in her eyes as she glares back, a dangerous inner voice starting to awaken. Suddenly, Julia's aura shifts terrifyingly. She glares and asks, "Are you scared of me?" The bully freezes in pure terror, swearing just to hide his sudden fear. Furious, the bully smacks her head with a folder. But Julia just smiles creepily, mocking his weakness. Enraged by her lack of fear, he clenches his fist, ready to beat her for real. As the green-haired girl pins Julia down, the situation spirals. Suddenly, the fierce male teacher steps in. With a cold stare, he mocks them, calling this a massacre rather than a fight. The green-haired girl, relying on her family's status, actually threatens to report the teacher. He just laughs in disbelief, looking at her with pure contempt for her audacity. The teacher stands his ground, asking who would really get expelled. Furious, the girl insults him, calling him trash. He cuts her off cold. None of your business. Get lost. At the smoking area, the teacher asserts dominance, claiming the spot as his turf and ordering them to leave. The girl talks big, but shrinks under his overwhelming adult presence. The girl retreats, cursing and calling the teacher a lunatic to her friend. Alone in the night, the teacher lights a cigarette, his eyes revealing a deep weariness beneath the tough exterior. Watching the bullies leave, the teacher suppresses his rage and tells Julia to report any future attacks, promising to help despite the red tape. Julia is stunned. She's so used to being beaten for fighting back that the idea of someone actually standing up for her feels impossible. While Julia bitterly accepts her unfair punishment, the teacher clenches his fist, insisting that her anger was justified and she shouldn't be the one suffering. As rain begins to fall, the teacher's words "you did nothing wrong" finally break through Julia's emotional walls, melting her icy defense. Seeing her walk away in the pouring rain, he rushes out and screams at her retreating back, "Don't be sad. We have nothing to be ashamed of." Julia calls to say thank you, but addressing him as MS. Froud hints that this male teacher is actually sent in disguise all along. Meanwhile, a broke thug stress checks his phone, while back at the hideout, the gang is already plotting their next move against Uglyhood. On the sunset-lit street, the symbiote Ariel nags Elsa about making too many enemies, but she just brushes it off with visible annoyance. Suddenly, a massive shadow looms over them, and when the stranger calls out Uglyhood, Elsa freezes, her eyes wide with shock. A closer look reveals the ambushers are just two TOI aliens she beat up before, leading to a very awkward stare down. They aren't here for revenge. They confess they're now fugitives, who will be executed if they return to the church empty-handed. Desperate to survive, they offer information, while Elsa grips her bat, skeptical but willing to listen to what they have to say. The pink alien reveals an open secret. The church's elite TOI squad consists entirely of aliens used as disposable tools by the bishops. A glimpse into the ranks shows the alien grunts living in constant fear, terrified that one mistake will get them executed by the bishops. Most are refugees who lost their homes, forced to serve the church just to survive, laughing bitterly to mask the pain of their tragic pasts. Watching the oppressive church building from the shadows, Elsa begins to understand the desperate plight of these enemies, her heart sinking. Since they are refugees, they become perfect fodder. The church elites use aliens to do their dirty work and purge dissenters without lifting a finger. They don't want to dirty their hands. After explaining, the pink alien turns to a silent Elsa and asks, "And you? Why do you fight?" Without waiting for an answer, he drops a black folder and leaves. Elsa opens it, and the contents leave her eyes wide with absolute shock. Meanwhile, a girl in a red hood reviews an urgent file on Uglyhood. Despite the fear induced by the word Satan's child, she grits her teeth and orders, "Forget tomorrow, we move now." At a fanatical rally, a preacher spews hatred, branding Uglyhood an ugly demon. In the audience, red-haired Nathan clutches his head, desperately repenting for ever admiring this so-called devil. Just as Nathan vows to purify his thoughts, the ceiling comes crashing down. Through the dust, that cursed blue figure crawls out. The entire hall goes deathly silent. Uglyhood's iconic blue hoodie appears, screaming for everyone to run. The news explodes instantly, stunning office workers everywhere. In the shadows, a mysterious hand grabs a photo frame, whispering finally. The chaos doesn't settle. Instead, it spirals further out of control as a new chapter begins amidst the turmoil. Chaos erupts in the church. While everyone flees, Nathan freezes, screaming, "Why now?" A friend tries to drag him away, but the reckless kid breaks free, insisting he has to talk to Uglyhood face to face. Nathan's mind is a mess, flashing back to that bizarre blue creature. He feels insane, standing there blushing with fan merch in hand, cursing himself but unable to run away. Ariel, in her blue monster form, mocks the cleric. But the trembling priest suddenly finds a backbone, pointing to his holy symbol and screaming his legitimate rank, leaving Ariel momentarily confused. Before Ariel can react, the weak priest explodes, grabbing her head and slamming her down. A camera flashes as the priest cackles, capturing Ariel's true face. It was a trap all along. The attacker reveals herself a purple-haired woman with an eye patch. She gloats over the fallen figure, convinced she's taken down Uglyhood and secured a promotion, unaware she's the one being played. Cut to the roof. The real Elsa and Ariel are safe. Ariel wants to go back and torture the attacker, but Elsa just wants to go home. They leap off the edge, vanishing into the Twilight City. Elsa sprints, annoyed that no one's answering her calls. To shake off pursuers, she switches into a red hoodie and ducks into a dark alley, gasping for air, with Ariel reverted to earring form. Talk about bad luck, that fanatical kid Nathan actually tracked her down. Shaking like a leaf but holding a stick, he tries to play hero, screaming at the shadows, "Come out, terrorist!" Just as Elsa prepares to act, Ariel uncontrollably pops off her ear, screaming, "I'm a fan!" Nathan's terror instantly vanishes, replaced by massive hard eyes. The mood whiplashes instantly. Meanwhile, back at the wrecked church, a mysterious figure in a blue jacket picks up the unconscious priest's phone. Checking the selfie and timestamp, he coldly confirms his suspicions. Back in the alley, Nathan is on his knees, begging for an autograph. Ariel is absolutely basking in the celebrity treatment, grinning ear to ear and completely forgetting the danger. Nathan sobs out a confession. "Everyone calls you an ugly demon, but you're my hero." Even Ariel is stunned. Under the sunset, the kid's sincerity is intense enough to give you goosebumps. Ideally, Nathan panics, thinking he's dead meat. But Elsa and Ariel just stand there in silence. For Elsa, who has zero friends, this fanatical kindness is completely alien territory. Ariel reaches out a tentacle, tapping the terrified boy and asking his name. When he stammers Nathan Taylor, she surprisingly replies gently, "Good name. I'll remember it." Elsa is screaming that it's a trap, but Ariel ignores her completely, fussing over how to design her autograph. Caught between the raging hero and the oblivious alien, Nathan looks like his brain is about to short-circuit. On the rooftop, Ariel is talking to Nathan when a cold voice cuts through from behind. "Found ya." Sin doesn't waste time talking, she attacks immediately. Ariel's eyes bug out in terror as he gets knocked away instantly. The scene shifts. The mysterious figure dives from above, lunging straight at Elsa in her school uniform, sending papers flying. Elsa suits up as Ugly Hood and bolts, but the black-haired girl is insanely fast, sticking to her like glue. Realizing she can't outrun her, Elsa stops. She decides to tank a punch to fake weakness, hoping to pass as a normal human. Sin recalls the order to keep it low profile, but throws the punch anyway, landing a solid blow right on Elsa's face. Something's wrong. Elsa gets pummeled with a combo and is totally confused. She's supposed to be invincible, so why does it hurt? Bullets used to feel like tickles, but this punch hurts like hell. Elsa collapses in the rubble, clutching her stomach and cursing in pain. Sin looks down at the fallen Elsa with disappointment. Way too weak. Elsa sweats bullets, terrified that her power has suddenly vanished. Seeing how weak her opponent is, Sin decides this is a fake. She warns coldly, "If you're a copycat, go home and sleep, or the church will kill you." Sin actually turns and walks away. Elsa sits there in a daze, unable to believe she just got let off the hook for being too weak. Just when the crisis seemed over, Elsa's phone suddenly rings. The shrill sound explodes in the silent alley, freezing both of them in place. Sin doubles back instantly and rips off Elsa's mask. Seeing the familiar face, Sin's pupils quake with shock, and she screams, "What the hell are you doing here?" Her cover is blown. Sin thinks Elsa is doing this dangerous stunt for attention, pointing at the wanted poster and tearing into her. In the middle of the scolding, Sin pauses. She realizes that with the force of her punch, a normal person would be finished, yet Elsa is still standing. Suspicion turns into certainty. Sin stares dead at Elsa, her voice cold. "You're not a copycat. You're the real Ugly Hood, aren't you?" Since the act is up, Elsa punches the wall. The concrete shatters instantly, debris flying as she finally shows her teeth. "See that?" They grab each other by the collar, neither backing down. Elsa furiously questions why Sin is working for the church, tension reaching a breaking point. Sin mentions mother, instantly stepping on a landmine. Elsa's eyes glare with fury as she shakes off Sin's hand. "Shut up, that's none of your business." Tensions explode. As Elsa tries to leave, Sin grabs her wrist hard, electricity crackling between them. Trembling with rage, Sin brings up her dead mother, losing all control. Elsa drops the act. Power surges, shattering the ground beneath her feet. Surrounded by crackling energy and glowing red eyes, she delivers a cold warning, "I will never be caught." The tension snaps instantly. Sin lets go and bursts into maniacal laughter, leaving Elsa completely confused. The murderous atmosphere vanishes, replaced by pure bewilderment. Sin wipes the tears from her eyes and leans in, her gaze sharpening. "If you're fighting the church, you need that kind of resolve. It was a test all along. As evening falls, Sin drops the smile and orders Elsa to follow. To prove a point, she crushes a soda can with her bare hand. This conversation is going to be heavy. On a park bench, Sin hands over a drink. Elsa hesitates, but Sin drops a bombshell. It's holy water. She hints that her powers actually come from drinking this stuff. Sin stares coldly at the can. She's seen through the church's lies, bluntly stating that God's blessings are actually alien parasites, a truth she realized at her mother's funeral. After trashing the church, Sin turns to the silent Elsa and asks the real question. You know my secret, so why haven't you reported me yet? Elsa lays her cards on the table. First, she thought Sin was too weak. Second, feelings got in the way. And third, she secretly hoped Sin would actually destroy the church. The mention of destroying the church triggers a flashback to the Great Purge 6 years ago. It was a nightmare of rain and blood where countless people died, a wound that never healed. Sin clutches her head, tormented by memories of her mother's despair. She vows that if Yamanus is a god, she'll tear him apart. Elsa tries to comfort her, but Sin violently slaps her hand away. Seeing Sin's fragile arrogance, Elsa rolls up her sleeve to reveal old, deep scars. She warns coldly, don't underestimate the church. I've been to hell, and back. I know what I'm talking about. Staring at a shocked Sin, Elsa admits she has fought them before. But it's not just a fight. It's a top-secret war involving a mysterious organization behind that massive cross. Meanwhile, the villains are making their move. A hooded figure profiles Uglyhood, D-class, 17-year-old female, student at this very school. The net is closing in. The atmosphere in the office is suffocating. A dark-haired official orders a blonde student to act as bait. The church plans to use him to lure out Uglyhood, regardless of the danger. The student breaks down, realizing the man is his father, and the reason his mother left. The official hands him a black object, saying coldly, take this. For protection. Staring at the unknown black object in his hand, the student's eyes widen in terror. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows there's no turning back from this storm. The alarm blares, jolting Elsa out of bed. She stares blankly at the mirror before splashing water on her face to wake up. She rushes out with a toothbrush in her mouth, Ariel nagging beside her. Seeing it's almost 9 o'clock, panic sets in, and she uses her powers to sprint. On the way, she recalls last night's conversation with the black-haired boy about the great cleaning and his search for a missing friend. The mood is heavy. She hesitantly revealed she was a soldier in the cleaning event. The confession hung in the air, a shocking weight that left them both stunned. Back in class, Elsa is completely zoned out, haunted by her confession. She's terrified of how she'll face him again. While Elsa holds her head in distress, the green-haired guy watches her. He deduces that the only D-class crazy enough to fight a bishop is likely her. Seeing her distracted, the teacher throws a piece of chalk. It reminds him of the time she literally caught the chalk with her teeth like a wild animal. Outside the classroom, Ariel scolds Elsa for zoning out. Suddenly, trouble arrives as students surround her, demanding late fees. They demand an exorbitant amount, and Elsa laughs in disbelief. She paid days ago. This is clearly just extortion. The girl denies receiving any money, gaslighting Elsa. They start insulting her as a D-class beggar, using their status to bully her. Insults fly from all sides as the crowd watches. Elsa realizes the atmosphere has turned toxic against low-class students ever since Sarah arrived. Elsa keeps her head down, memories of past beatings surfacing. She hates fighting because, as a D-class, the system ensures she never wins. She holds back, remembering how she loses control when angry. But a classmate urges her to stop being scared and fight back. Elsa decides to apologize to de-escalate. The bully laughs mockingly, unaware that Elsa is swallowing her pride, just to avoid accidentally crushing them. They use religion as a weapon, claiming her poverty is karma for not donating. Ariel watches in confusion, wondering why Elsa is taking this abuse. Ariel has finally had enough. It decides to take control, telling Elsa to be quiet as it prepares to teach these bullies a lesson, church style. Elsa's aura shifts instantly. Her command silences the room, and the lighting turns eerie. Sarah and the cross-marked girl immediately sense something is wrong. Ariel manifests in its full alien glory, backed by a golden light. It commands Elsa with divine authority, repeat after me, and let's finish this. Elsa stands there in total shock, trying to process the absolute absurdity she just witnessed. What the hell was that? Before she can recover, classmates start screaming, accusing her of skipping class fees. Elsa fires back, mocking their tiny brains. They corner her by the lockers, screaming about the money. Elsa stays ice cold and simply asks for proof. Ariel can barely stand their stupidity. Elsa actually laughs in their faces, asking if they think they're tax collectors now. They bring up her D-class status, but Elsa tears down their superiority complex, making the blonde bully explode in rage. Elsa dominates the room, exposing them as petty extortionists, who are an embarrassment to their class. The crowd realizes the bullies were lying. She delivers the final blow, confirming she paid and warning them to back off unless they want a real fight. Suddenly, Sarah steps in. She twists the logic to defend the bullies and blames Elsa for overreacting, shifting the power dynamic instantly. Sarah smiles with terrifying confidence, taunting Elsa's silence. Against the church's influence, Elsa is forced to hold back. The class instantly sides with Sarah, isolating Elsa. Despite being innocent, she's left alone to swallow the injustice. Then the teacher arrives, and the class rep stands there holding cash, looking completely confused. The truth is about to drop. Turns out, the bullies were the ones who owed money. They get publicly humiliated over a measly 1,001. Elsa looks back and sighs. She realizes there was never any reasoning with idiots like that in the first place. The truth is out. The classmates who mocked her are now terrified, realizing just how scary Elsa can be when provoked. Even though she won, the memory of Sarah's arrogant threat makes Elsa tremble, with suppressed rage and frustration. It's lunchtime. The classroom empties out, leaving Julia, the class outcast, sitting there all by herself. Elsa tries to ask her to lunch casually but panics and screams her name, scaring the living daylights out of poor Julia. It's incredibly awkward, but Julia agrees. Elsa walks beside her, overthinking every single step and sweating bullets. They sit in silence. Elsa tries to break the ice with a joke about the terrible food, but it just lands flat. Suddenly, Julia apologizes for not helping earlier. Elsa is stunned, not expecting such sincerity from the quiet girl. A heavy monologue opens the scene. The world is cruel to the weak, so there's no need for guilt when the system itself is rotten. Back in the cafeteria, Elsa compliments Glass's girl directly. She panics, coughing awkwardly as the air turns thick with embarrassment. Jokes aside, Glass's girl drops her voice and brings up the brother. Elsa instantly stiffens, defensive and suspicious of the motive. Childhood memories flash through Elsa's mind. Glass's girl stays serious, offering a secret of her own. It's a now or never confession. Elsa tries to calculate a response, but the question, "Do you still contact him?" cuts deep. Her eyes go dark, drowning in trauma. Hearing executed, Elsa snaps, screaming in rage and grief. Then, Glass's girl drops the bomb. He's not dead. It's a secret. Just after revealing he returned, Glass's girl starts trembling in terror. She abruptly shuts down, apologizing as if she touched a deadly taboo. The pieces click for Elsa. The named are actually the survivors of that execution order. The mystery begins to unravel. A montage reveals their grim reality. Abandoned by family with nothing left to lose, they become dangerous and desperate. That's why they protect Julia. She's one of them. The radical members erupt in anger, grabbing weapons to storm the school for revenge. The leader barks an order, and the squad moves out with lethal intent. They are fully prepared to wreak havoc at the school. Sun suddenly strikes, knocking her own impulsive teammates down. She screams at them to focus. Beating up kids for revenge will ruin everything. Cooling down, the group strategizes. Uglyhood destroyed a church in minutes yesterday, a power that both terrifies and intrigues them. Sun lays out the plan. Recruit Uglyhood next time. She also takes a moment to comfort the guilt-ridden pink-haired guy. It's not his fault. Cut to the church. Bishop Olivia has returned. Seeing the mess, she looks utterly exhausted and annoyed with the incompetence. Olivia scolds her subordinate for being lax, but the girl smirks back, joking about Olivia dying from overwork. The tension is palpable. Olivia mentions Sarah, and the subordinate mocks her again. Olivia's eyes go cold, and raw power erupts, shattering the floor beneath them. Dust settles around Olivia standing in the rubble. A single warning glance backed by overwhelming, terrifying power. Having poked the bear, the subordinate turns to find Bishop Abel hiding in the corner, mercilessly mocking him for getting beaten by Uglyhood. The purple-robed bishop furiously insists he didn't lose, just went easy. The woman turns her back, mocking him for playing a cute game of hide-and-seek. She doesn't wait for excuses. Violence erupts instantly as she lunges. Glass shatters around him, before he can even react to her terrifying speed. It's over in a flash. As he lies dazed in the rubble, the crazy woman stands tall, gritting and asking if he's still conscious amidst the debris. Refusing to accept humiliation, he forces himself up, channeling his power. Fire erupts from his fists as he prepares a desperate, destructive counterattack. Resistance is futile. She crushes them instantly. Staring down at the trembling losers begging for mercy, her eyes are as cold as ice. Dusting herself off, she turns to her colleague. She warns her to back off, revealing that Sarah the Cardinal's daughter is personally hunting Uglyhood now. Despite her high rank as a bishop, she's annoyed at doing dirty work. The scene shifts to the city under a blue sky, masking the coming storm. At a local cafe, students gossip about aliens. Irony strikes hard. The smiling barista serving them is literally an alien in disguise. The poor alien barista forces a smile, silently judging their wild theories, while whipping up a fully loaded alien shake. Talk about dark humor. Meanwhile, at Henry's cafe, student regulars wander in. They tease Elsa's dad about working a part-time job at his age, while ordering their usuals. Henry skillfully brews coffee, watching the energetic kids. The redhead brags about surviving a recent disaster, completely oblivious to the truth. The redhead gets excited, defending Uglyhood as a hero. Then he drops a bombshell. Rumor has it the wanted terrorist is a student at their school. Hearing the suspect is D-class, the redhead sneers about rocks. Henry arrives with free desserts, freezing as he catches snippets of their dangerous conversation. The gossip turns terrifying as they mention Uglyhood is 17. Henry freezes, cold sweat forming as the description sounds horrifyingly familiar. Henry returns home with a heavy heart, only to nearly have a heart attack finding Elsa passed out on the floor like a corpse. Before Elsa can fully wake up, Henry starts probing. He mentions the rumors, and Elsa instantly panics, denying everything way too aggressively. Henry eyes her worn-out hoodie, warning her not to wear it. Suddenly, breaking news confirms it. Uglyhood is a 17-year-old D-class girl. The air freezes. As the news details the terrorist's violence, Henry stares at his daughter's hoodie and hair, a chilling sense of déjà vu gripping him. On the verge of being caught, Henry shakily asks if she's cosplaying. Elsa seizes the chance, hugging him and crying to deflect the truth, barely escaping suspicion. Having fooled her dad, Elsa drops the act instantly. Ariel appears with a grim warning. Her identity is compromised. She must stop all activities immediately. Elsa huddles in the corner, terrified her dad will find out her secret. Ariel mocks her dramatic pose, but she steels herself. The best way to protect her dad is simply not to die. Meanwhile, Sarah walks down a dark corridor, visibly nervous. From behind a door, the collar-wearing creep Diasa watches her with a sinister gaze. Tension spikes as they cross paths in the dim hallway. Suddenly, a looming shadow approaches from the darkness, interrupting their standoff. Sarah orders the alien enforcers to move, but they trash-talk her the moment they turn around, calling her a spoiled brat. She hears every word, terrified inside but keeping her face stone-cold. Sarah feels utterly isolated in this nest of monsters. Meanwhile, the alien thug admits she's not stupid, but he's still hunting for proof that she might be Uglyhood. Suspicion turns into pure malice as he grits his teeth, vowing to unleash hell on them starting tomorrow. The scene shifts to a baptism. The red-robed priest chants holy words, but internally he's cursing the whole charade, clearly forced into this role. He skips the formalities and forces the believer to drink the holy water. Watching the blind obedience, the priest can barely hide his disgust. The liquid in the chalice reflects a dark cross. One sip, and the original personality is wiped out, leaving only a fanatic shell. After drinking, the believer renames himself and mutates into a purple monster. The priest watches the grotesque transformation and mutters, "I hate it." Back at school, Sin is running late again. She gets caught by the car-obsessed teacher, who immediately starts screaming at her. Surprisingly, he tells her to get in, proudly showing off a dent on the car battle scars from Uglyhood that he treats like a badge of honor. The mood inside the car turns heavy. Sin recalls how she trusted him completely, only to realize he hid his true identity, leaving her feeling deeply betrayed. Sin admits the loss of her friends makes it hard to trust again. The teacher grips the steering wheel, understanding but still harboring a sliver of doubt about her ties to the church. The teacher accepts her words. He leans against a wall outside, lighting a cigarette, deciding to give them both time to process the heavy truth. The classroom door slides open, silencing the room. The transfer student walks in with an intimidating aura, her gaze sharp as a knife. Whispers erupt across the room. Everyone thinks she's uglyhood suspect number 2. Elsa breaks into a cold sweat, terrified the suspicion will shift to her next. The PA system crackles to life, summoning a list of students to the auditorium. Elsa and Julia are on the list, and it quickly becomes clear they're rounding up all the D-class students. In the auditorium, the teacher reveals his true colors. He announces that to flesh out uglyhood, the school will cooperate with the church to segregate and monitor all these trash D-class students. The atmosphere at school is suffocating. The teacher announces a total lockdown for D-class, and when a student dares to question at whim, an enforcer drops him instantly, stomping him into the floor. Resistance is futile. 2 students walk down the hall, cursing uglyhood for their detention, but their complaints die in their throats the moment they slide the door open. The classroom is trashed, chaos reigning where desks used to be. It's that blonde psycho again. He's piled rocks on the desks, sneering that since they have no friends, he brought them some rock buddies from the street. The humiliation is thick enough to choke on. Amidst the cruel laughter, something snaps inside Julia. The quiet girl with glasses stands frozen, but deep within her pupils, a dangerous red light begins to glow. She has reached her breaking point.